Every genre has a set of expectations that readers have, and our job as authors is to meet those expectations, or readers aren't going to come back for the next book. So one of the key things that authors need to do is to make sure that they know exactly what those expectations are. I swear I was never going to write Amish fiction. I should have known the moment I said never that I would end up writing it. So I have written some Amish fiction with Tricia Goyer, but I did it with Tricia because she's an expert in that genre. So I knew we could make sure we were hitting all those expectations. When I'm writing suspense, it's really easy to hit those because I read suspense voraciously. I don't think I'll ever write sci-fi because I don't read sci-fi. But if you go to Goodreads, you'll see that I read about 130 books a year, even as much as I'm writing, because I think it's absolutely critical for authors to read a lot. And I read across a lot of genres, partly because I want to be seeing what's working. I want to be reading the New York Times bestsellers. I want to be reading the award winners. I want to be reading because as a reader, I can start picking up on, ooh, that really works. Why did that work? And then the editor starts coming on and I'm like, okay, that characterization was fantastic. That setting really pulled me in. The tension in this book was phenomenal. And you start picking up on the expectations, the things that should be in every book in that genre. And then I can make sure that I'm incorporating that into the books that I'm writing. And that's something that as a writer, we absolutely need to be doing. When I switched from writing romantic suspense to legal thrillers, one of the first things I did, even though I have read that genre for years, was I stopped and I broke down 3 or 4 books that are some of my favorites in that genre. And I did a chapter by chapter Excel spreadsheet of here's what was happening in each of those chapters. And you could say, yeah, that's the left brain attorney in me going, okay, let's analyze and figure out exactly what was happening. But I wanted to make sure I had the pacing. I wanted to make sure I knew what was happening in all the different threads and plot lines, because it's real easy sometimes, even as a reader who's pretty informed and I want to say has done a lot of kind of analyzing books, to just kind of do it at a surface level. And I knew I needed to go deeper to make sure that as a writer who is moving in a new to me genre, I knew what the expectations were. And it was then I could go, oh, here's why I love Randy Singer's legal thrillers. He has there's a romance plot, there's the internal plot, there's the legal plot, but there's also this really twisty external plot to the main character, but it's a physical plot that is something that's happening in their life external to the legal thread. And I was like, that's why it feels so multi-layered. And then I could go, that's why as a reader, I'm so satisfied, and I knew to incorporate that. If I hadn't taken the time to break it down and really analyze what was happening in the plot, I wouldn't have understood that. And my books then would have been a little superficial if you were comparing a Randy Singer to a Cara Putman to a John Grisham and to a Lisa Scottoline. And so it's by taking that time to really analyze the genre that then I was like, this is what subconsciously readers are going to expect. And I can then make sure I'm meeting those expectations.